Hello. Today I got a quick one, because I have a VOD in which we're going to see a textbook example on why you should still look to exchange in losing laning phases. Because there's this often idea that once a laning phase is losing, you're just supposed to avoid all types of exchanges, not give your opponent any opportunity to find a trade onto you. But it's false, majority of times. And again, this game is a great example of why it doesn't work. So we are straight going into the 6th wave of the laning phase. This is going to be bouncing back towards Tracen. And this is a timer on which you need to trade as Ambessa for multiple reasons. First of all, this is the best timer that you will have. Currently, Vayne is slow pushing this wave. She's going to likely crash the next one. And after that, she's going to set up a bounce back towards herself, on which trying to find any types of exchanges is a misery. So if there is any good timer to trade on, it's gonna be now. Second reason, Skarner is pathing towards you. By the time that Vayne is crashing the wave onto top turret, your Skarner is topside. And as Ambessa, you want to make sure that Skarner is in position to actually play around you. For that, Vayne cannot be full HP. She cannot. You need to make sure that you actually find some exchanges. So let's see what Tracen does. Because as you can imagine, Tracen will do the opposite. In Trace's mind, because his laning phase is losing, he's never supposed to trade. He's not stepping back because of Jarvan. He saw Jarvan mid a second ago. He saw Alistar mid. He's not scared of anyone other than Vayne. But the thing is that he shouldn't be scared of Vayne either, because Vayne doesn't have any of her Sams, and obviously she cannot just all-in him at this point, even if he goes in and starts exchanging onto her. She just cannot do anything to him. Which leaves me with the only reason for why he is not stepping up and trading, which is the idea that he shouldn't be trading here. That trading and losing laning phase at this point is bad, which will come back to bite him later on in this game. So Tracen is refusing to walk up and trade. Finally, Broken Blade steps up himself, auto-attacks him and Qs back. This Q cooldown is the main cooldown on which you trade onto Vayne. No matter if you're Renekton, if you're Ambessa, if you're Jace, you're trading on this Q cooldown. What I would expect from any pro player is step up on this timer, all the way here, and look to exchange with W and D. We are not seeing that. Instead, Tracen continues to click back and not abuse the Q cooldown. Then we are seeing a classic El Clasico mistake from a weaker Ambessa player, where we are wasting our Q for fun. There is no good reason to use our Q in this spot. We wouldn't lose any HP if we didn't use it. Instead, we have an ability on a 14-second cooldown for absolutely no reason. Then we are deciding to drop a cannon minion because we are so scared of Vayne and any forms of exchanges. After which, Vayne disrespects us as fuck, as she's queuing backwards, and on top of that, if this is not enough to disrespect, she's going to click forward and auto-attack us on her Q cooldown. This is insanity. She should lose her HP here. Ambessa should have used her Electrocute proc, which she hasn't used a single time this game, and her Shield Bash, which she also hasn't used the entire game. Instead, we're not seeing any of that, and he just continues to be AFK, and he continues to use his 14-second cooldown ability on a melee minion for absolutely no reason. So the only thing that's left to see, given that he is never going to step up an exchange on any of these cooldowns, on any of these timers, he's not going to proc his Electrocute a single time, the only thing that's left to see is what it ends up doing to his game. Now, Broken Blade is dogshit at the game as well. Important to bring that up, because we need to call them out equally. Broken Blade needs to crash this wave. Why does he need to crash this wave? Because he wants to deny more minions. First of all, he can deny more by crashing this wave. Second of all, he wants to get the platings, which he can do by crashing the wave. He wants to harass her under turret, which is easier to do when he crashes the wave. He doesn't crash this wave, he loses like 5 minions just dancing around in the river. Oh wait, was it actually 5 minions? I thought I was exaggerating. No, that was 4. No, 1, 2, 3. I'm stupid. I don't know why I said 5. It was 3. And now we have this weird half crash. Why is it bad? Because Ambessa is just going to last get all of those range minions for free. Also, I don't know what the fuck Broken Blade is doing by clicking like this. I think he's just scared of getting ganked. Because he doesn't have vision. Maybe. Either way, he fucked up this wave state. And now let's see what happens after Broken Blade ends up crashing this wave. So he's gonna get a plating, as everyone probably can imagine. And now we have the bounce back that we've been all waiting for. Skarner decides to not overstay, because Vayne is full HP, so why the fuck would you overstay for? You're not gonna do anything on Skarner either way, so you might as well just reset. And even before that, as Shen was opening the map, he opened top, he looked top, he saw this guy full HP with a potion, decided that he is not playing through top. Justifiably so. top lane should have exchanged multiple times by now. And even if the exchanges are losing, Trayson will show us why it can still be good for you to take losing exchanges in a losing matchup. Because he does something correct. And the correct part is pressing B here. Let's assume that he took a bunch of losing exchanges and he ended up with this much HP left, 100 HP, but Vayne is half HP. Even then, this is a winning scenario for Ambessa. Definitely more winning than the shit that she is in right now. Because if Broken Blade does the same thing, groups the minions and then pulls them into this bush so that they're slow pushing back towards him, he has to reset. He cannot overstay with half HP left because the game is lost. By the time Ambessa resets herself and then comes back to lane with full HP, you cannot overstay as Vayne. You're just gonna die and you're gonna lose the game. But because he's full HP, guess what? He's gonna overstay. And guess what it forces Ambessa to do? Overstay as well. And now the HP advantage that you have is fucking useless. Also, one more thing. I need to cover this because this is disgusting. Progression by Broken Blade is misplayed to a crazy extent. And the reason why it's misplayed is because now, instead of being slow and patient and waiting for Ambessa to step up, further up, waiting for Ambessa to use her abilities first on the wave, waiting for Ambessa to actually lose minions, he's trading before she's even in position to lose a minion. This guy's half HP. You need to be patient. You need to wait. But he's not waiting, so Ambessa's in position where she can last hit this melee minion. She didn't get it this time, but she could have. That's the point. You're not supposed to give her these opportunities. Now she got another melee minion, and then Broken Blade is gonna make the same mistake again. Instead of waiting for this cannon minion to be lower HP, instead of standing here, probably in this bush, and waiting, he's stepping up too early. He's like overextending into Ambessa's wave. He takes an exchange, and Ambessa gets to have the cannon minion. Because Broken Blade is not patient enough, and is trading too early. Which doesn't change the fact, by the way, that this game is cooked for Ambessa. Even without the Jarvan being on the side of Vayne, Vayne is solo killing this Ambessa right now. On this wave, all Ambessa needs to do is position here, wait for this guy to walk out for a minion, and then commit with your ult at an angle, so you get a flank. Broken Blade doesn't do that really with his positioning. He's also gonna use this weird Q backwards. I have no fucking idea why. He's just trying to bait. The Jarvan isn't here, I guess. And so they only end up getting the flash. And Vayne actually burns her ult for no reason. Which is quite sad, but doesn't change anything in the end because Ambessa is still falling quite far behind. Relative to what would have had happened otherwise if, let's say, she took a couple of those exchanges on this bounce back. And then on the crash itself and on the reset itself, if Vayne did the same thing and then she reset it, Ambessa would have lost maybe only about 4 minions. Let's say 5. Even then, it's so much better than whatever situation she is in now, where she has to overstay for this wave and lose a bunch of minions, not necessarily experience but gold, and then she needs to take a shit reset in the end either way, regardless of if Jarvan is in topside or not. She's still forced into taking a much worse reset otherwise. So the only thing she did by not exchanging on the bounce back is delay her death sentence. That's the only thing that she has done. So, to conclude, Broken Blade. The only reason why this CS gap is only 3 is because he's dogshit at wave management. He fucked up his early waves, he fucked up his early vision placement, he fucked up his wave on the bounce back where he didn't crash properly, and even now he's fucking up the exchanges, when Ambessa is getting a bunch of minions. That's the only reason why he is not more ahead, by the way. So that's the first thing. Second thing, Ambessa, and any top laner who's playing a losing matchup. You cannot just permanently try to not lose HP. At some point, majority of losing matchups, you have to start exchanging. In a matchup like this, you need to be very specific on which timer you start exchanging on. And in the case of Trace in this game, it was the bounce back after he crashed the 5th wave. And that'll be it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one, just as much as I did. And yeah, bye bye.